All right, I think everything is good. Why does it not say I'm live yet? Wait, am I live? Am I live? I think I'm live. Okay, I think I am. Well, good morning, everybody. I think I need to get a new arm. Let's try this. Okay, are you gonna stay up, please? I would really appreciate it. Okay, take two. I definitely need to get a new camera arm. But I think it's gonna stay up. You might hear giggling in the background. My husband's getting our grocery list together because he's gonna go shopping. And he just watched the whole thing happen too, so he's over there laughing at me. Okay, are we good? I think we're good. All right, I think it's gonna stay now. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get some duct tape, and I'm just gonna have to like. It's gonna be really ugly, but at least it will stay up. Hush your mouth. This is much earlier than I normally go live. It's like 9 a.m. for me. I love you. You can talk, you don't have to be silent. You took them when you got your sister's car yesterday. He couldn't find the keys. All right. Yeah. Okay. I could get started then. Eric's trying to be super quiet now. All right, where was I? I was working on these bushes. Willow says hi, Eric.
Hello.
All right, so yeah, I got to work on these bushes. I got the lowlights and the midtones done, but now I got to work on the highlights. And I'm basing them off these bushes in the background, which I only used very little midtones, and it's all mainly highlights. That's to kind of like help push it in the back. So when you're looking out into the distance of a landscape, what you'll notice is that the furthest things away tend to shift towards the color of whatever the sky is, and all of the shadows tend to disappear. So things get lighter the further away they are from you. So that's why everything in the foreground is so dark. I need to add in the highlights to really like bring it to life. And I think I already have the colors. I do. All right. So I need my pale olive, and then I need to mix the pale olive with some yellow. Did you watch Rose's video yet, Willow? I already watched it. I watched it while I was getting ready. I don't normally like getting ready before my coffee, but I set my live for About the time I would have posted my video if I had gotten it done. So I decided, like, I better shower beforehand and get ready. Also, Will, I don't know if you heard Eric before he left. He did say hello. He was being all shy and bashful. He doesn't like being on camera that much. Like, he'll humor me every once in a while, like decorating the Christmas tree. Yeah, her bears were really cute. I really liked them. I had no idea what she was going to do when she was just like looking for themes, and I threw out the suggestion of art supplies. But I think they're super cute. I'm really torn between Vincent and Scribbles being my favorite of Rose's little bears. I of course like Vincent because he's all rainbowed. And then afterwards, when I finish the live, I need to watch Chantel's new video I saw she had just posted. Okay, I didn't really know what she was doing. She had just told me like she was struggling to come up with themes because she had already done like candies and sweets, and she didn't want to really do Care Bears, but that was sitting in her head, and so she was just like, I don't know what to do. And so I was just like, what about art supplies? And I think they came out so cute. There we go. Yeah, there are the highlights coming in. Yeah, the charms could be earrings. Oh, those would be really cute earrings. Hello, Plus Ultra. I don't know what time it is for you, but it is still like early morning for me. Well, not really early morning. It's morning. It's 9 a.m. Been struggling to work on my video. I can't believe like how defeated I have felt after losing that. I was so close to it being done, and I thought I could get it finished on time, but then like the world and personal stresses and taking care of the dogs, other adult responsibilities, and trying to work and blah. In Winnipeg, okay, so you're in the mid. You're towards the Midwest. Would it be the Midwest? It's like middle. Thank you. The idea for this one is this is going to be a memorial painting for a friend. Her nephew passed away last year. It's been a year now. He had a sudden health issue that unfortunately just the doctors were not able to help, and it really broke my heart. She really loved him. His name was Kenny. He was 11 years old, and he really loved Pokemon. And so she kind of wanted a Pokemon painting. And since I do really high detail landscapes with Pokemon, she wanted me to do a Pokemon painting for him. And the idea is kind of like a heavenly setting. So this is just kind of like my take on what a heavenly sky might look like. Like just an everlasting like sunset, but you can still see all the stars. And so that's kind of like what I'm going for with the sky. And it's just kind of like the clouds are almost blending into like a nebula within space. So the landscape's also going to look super idyllic. And then once I get the landscape done, I'm going to place a couple of his favorite Pokemon. So Cinderace is a soccer playing rabbit. I know it's a soccer playing rabbit or football if you're in Europe, but he was really into American football. So I'm going to have him kicking an American football, and I'm going to have Kenny down here trying to catch it. So I'm going to have Cinderace jumping, kicking it. His other favorite, Pikachu, of course, everybody knows Pikachu, is going to be down over here by the tree. And then another one of his favorites, Jirachi, which is the wish-granting Pokemon. It's going to be somewhere up in space. Yeah, I wanted it to... I don't want it to be a sad piece. I want it to almost be a little somber, but more kind of like to help them smile whenever they see it. Just like provide a really beautiful place for Kenny to live. And he's going to live in this painting. But because I also work off of emotion with my art, it's been really hard to kind of like sit down and focus with this. However, the live streams have really helped. They've helped a lot. So that's why I'm going live. Since I didn't get that video done, I still want to be productive. And I want to get this painting done. So I figured a live would be the best way to do that. Thank you so much. I really want to make this a special piece. I was really nervous about it at first. And the only other memorial painting I've ever done was for pets. And so I feel a little intimidated doing a piece for a person. I don't do people that often. But Cass is a really good friend. She's super sweet. Very loving. So I was up for the challenge for her. I also like how much it's now separating these little shrubs from the background plants. I still need to add some highlights to the lily plants, and then I think I'm gonna make these baby's breath. Their leaves are kind of long and thin, so I don't have to do much to give to the illusion of leaves, but I still need to put in some highlights so they stand out a little bit. It's not as dark. I don't want it to be too gloomy of a piece. Why are you over there whining? Or were you sleeping? Oh, he was dreaming. Baxter's on the couch all snuggled up in a blanket, and I heard him whimpering. He's dreaming. As long as he's okay, I'm good. I'll take dreaming. I don't even know what to really talk about today. Anybody working on anything? You got any diamond paintings going on, Willow? Your last one was freaking epic. If you guys like diamond painting, you should look for Purple Willow Arts on Instagram. She posts some of her diamond paintings over there. Some of them have been pretty epic. I guess if you're also on Instagram and you haven't followed me, I'm also on Instagram, just under Sin City Yeti. Give me promoting other people before I promote myself. That's so cute. I love that you have a Dexter too. Granted, my Dexter's over the Rainbow Bridge, but that makes me smile knowing that there's other Dexters in the world. Oh, the stained glass pug. You were telling me about that. Yeah. I can't wait to see that one when it's done. If you cannot tell, if you the music, if you can hear it, is lo-fi Pokemon music. I have so many hours into all the Pokemon games. Freaking love the music. Junichi Masuda is a fantastic musician, even though it's just game music. It's all pretty iconic. I will totally check that out. Yeah, you can absolutely send that to me. I love seeing what you're working on. I listened to this song so much during some of my shiny hunts. Shiny Pokemon are an alternate color from their like official artwork, what everybody knows them looking like. Like Pikachu's a bright yellow, but it almost becomes like a yellow orange color in its shiny. And they sparkle when you send out. I freaking love them. I love shiny hunting in Pokemon. I actually put like 90 hours into shiny hunting Turtwig and my brilliant diamond. What is it? Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I have Brilliant Diamond. And Turtwig is a starter Pokemon, but you can shiny hunt it. I put like 90 hours into the game before I even started anything, just trying to get a shiny. It took me weeks. Because I typically play for like maybe an hour or two in the early morning. I know like some people like to read the newspaper or go through the news first thing in the morning. I like to have my coffee and play Pokemon. I feel like battling kind of gets my brain going a little bit. And it's just kind of like fun to play and wake up to. Like starting my day off in a very good mood. Plus, I'm old. I can't really play at night anymore because I start to fall asleep. I used to be able to stay up all night playing Pokemon, or like not just Pokemon, any game. And it's funny, I can't do it with video games, but I could do it with painting. Like I'll stay up till like 4 a.m. painting, getting lost in a painting. But you put a game controller in my hand and I try to play video games and I start to fall asleep. I'm gonna be 40 next month. What are you talking about? That's over the hill. Not that old. Pokemon is celebrating its 30th anniversary next month. I was a little kid when I started playing Pokemon. You're not that much older than me. I definitely need to do some more Pokemon paintings this coming year. I have a bunch sketched out that I've been wanting to do, but I've gotten so sucked into other projects or just trying different things that they've just sat there. But maybe I could do them in like live streams like this. Yeah, I still cannot believe Pokemon is turning 30 years old. I I used to play on just the big fat gray Game Boy, and I would always get in trouble, so I wasn't allowed to play it. But I would sneak the Game Boy, do my best, and I had this little like book light because books were the only thing I was allowed to do when I was like in trouble or grounded. So I had a little book light so I could read, and it clipped into the book, but it was too thin to clip onto that fat Game Boy. So I would have one hand holding this little book light, and I would like, how would I have it? I would like have it between these two fingers, so I still had my thumb, and I would have the covers over my head, so I'd have my little book light shining on the green screen of the Game Boy while I'm sitting there playing Pokemon. It'd be like 11:30, midnight, just so like I knew everybody would be asleep and I wouldn't get in trouble, and I could just play Pokemon. I have an Eevee painting actually sketched out. I have. It's like an open field with a little stream, and there's like a wooden plank fence running along the stream. In the sketch, I have Snorlax sleeping in the background, and I have an Eevee jumping up, trying to catch a feather that came off of a Pokemon called Ho-Oh. It's a legendary Pokemon from like if you played Gold version, it's um, the main Pokemon on the cover of Gold. But it's also known to like leave a sacred feather, and it will fall off of it, and it will like land in front of somebody. They do that in the anime with Ash Ketchum. He's got one of Ho-Oh's feathers. At least I think he does. But his was from the movie based off of like the second episode. They explored the idea of Ash seeing Ho-Oh in the very beginning of his journey more. And so like I liked that concept and thought like, well, what if Ho-Oh lost one of its feathers and Eevee found it? So I do have one sketched out with Eevee. I do want to get that one done because I haven't done any of the Eevee's evolutions. Not even my favorites. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of like scenes sketched out. Hi, Space Hero. I don't know if it's morning for you, but it's morning for me, so good morning. I was about to say, this sounds like Jubilife City. It is Jubilife City's music. I don't know if you can see me painting on the side. 5 p.m. for you? Nice. So this seems to be a pretty okay time to go live. Yeah, it is 9:30 a.m. for me. Wait a second, there is fuzz on here. Oh my gosh, I think I painted it into the painting. I don't even know if you guys could see it. I only saw it because the painting's at an angle. I think I got it. And this is why I have a duster. Because I will dog hair, fuzz, and stuff, and I always clean off my canvases before I start painting on them again. But sometimes I forget some. I just don't see it. Yeah, I'm on the west coast of the United States. About a 3-hour drive away from the Pacific Ocean. Just got to get up over the mountains. But actually, San Francisco is my closest city that's on the Pacific Ocean. Been meaning to take another trip out there. It's been a minute since I've been out in San Fran. It doesn't matter how much we brush them, their hair still gets everywhere. Although Onyx is going to be getting groomed here soon. His nails are going clickety clackety on the floor. And I know that can't feel very good. I wouldn't like walking on my nails. And his just started like really clicking on the ground, so it's time to get him to get groomed again. I wish he was a little nicer about it. He does not like his feet being touched. And we have to do it ourselves because I'm so worried. Like, he doesn't bite hard, but he does bite when he's getting his nails clipped. And I don't want to put anybody else through that. He's my dog. I want to take care of it. So I just need to get the clippers out. Give him a bath. Help him start getting rid of his winter coat. Even though, like, it's still super cold, he's already starting to lose his winter coat. Oh, nice. We try taking him on lots of walks because I know the process of walking helps like trim their nails and keep them down, but because of the dog food I make, since we add eggshells into it for the calcium, it's helping his nails and his hair grow, which is nice. That's what it's supposed to do. But his nails grow out too fast that his walks don't trim his nails naturally. But it does help them with strong bones. So, you know, there's a trade-off. I'll trim his nails. Make sure he's got strong bones. I think I got a little too paranoid. When I was growing up, my aunt's Chihuahua, Peanut, he was an angry little thing. He got stepped on, and he was older when he got stepped on. He was like 17, and it just like shattered his hind leg. And the doctor said that he needs to be on a higher calcium diet. And so I always worried about that now, like as an adult and growing up, but with my dogs, like, oh my goodness, don't step on them. You're going to shatter their legs, and you got to make sure they have lots of calcium. Took a little bit of time, but he did recover fine. Still able to walk, and he lived 2 more years after that. Just one of the angriest, crotchety chihuahuas I had ever seen in my life. And he had a little bit smaller ears, but he looked really similar to the Taco Bell Chihuahua. If you know who the Taco Bell Chihuahua is, like that was Peanut, just with smaller ears. But he was just so angry. He had the stereotypical like angry Chihuahua personality. Oh my goodness, I'm missing people. All messages. Why do you do that? Good morning, Asuna. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay, I'm not. Thank you, Willow, for saying hi. Because, like, for some reason, even though, like, it's my live stream, it doesn't show me everybody who's in chat, and I don't know why. So you, like, also saying hi brought my attention to, like, I was missing of somebody in the chat, and I don't want to miss anybody. So, hello, Asuna. My day is just getting started, and I am starting it off with painting. It's 9:30. Well, now it's like 9:40 a.m. So it's gonna be a good day getting my painting done. Also, so I can like finish up editing my video. What's taking it so long is it was a review episode of like all of my paintings from 2025. And I started posting long form videos last year. So like up until April, I had painted and was making paintings that I didn't film for long form content. And I haven't shared them yet, but like I made them last year and they're in that ranking video. So I had pulled bits and pieces of them to like kind of show the process of them being created with what I could. And that's what's taking so long, is it's just putting all these little videos together. I'd already put like a week into it when I had lost it, and I was so so sad. It was a lot of work. And then it's just been really hard to like focus on it this week. So much is happening. Aw. Well, if you are in a position, I know there are lots of dogs around the world that deserve and need loving homes. I am sure you would be a wonderful dog parent. I've had smaller dogs in my life since I was a teenager. Like Peanut was even though he was my aunt's dog, Peanut was like the first real dog in my life. Because when I was really, really little, my parents tried getting a dog. They tried getting a Cocker Spaniel named Spunky. No, Spunky was our cat. I don't remember the Cocker Spaniel's name. Anyways, the Cocker Spaniel was very rambunctious, and I was like 4 years old, but it would jump on top of me and knock me to the ground, and I ended up getting really scared of it since then, and then my parents had to rehome it. And then the same thing with Spunky. We didn't realize how allergic I or my mom were to cats when they had gotten Spunky, and we were just way too allergic to cats. Which made me really sad because I absolutely loved Spunky. I loved rubbing my face in Spunky, but my face did not love being rubbed into Spunky. So then for a while we didn't have any pets other than fish. I've also had fish almost my entire life. And then my aunt started getting dogs. She got Peanut. Well, she got Tinkerbell first. Tinkerbell was a terrier. And then she got Peanut and Gidget. Peanut's, we called it Gidget Peanut's wife because they were inseparable. And Gidget was like half the size of Peanut. Peanut was already a tiny dog, and Gidget was like half his size. And then they had puppies. Junior went to my cousin, and Junior was a mutant dog. We loved Junior. Oh my goodness. I haven't thought about Junior in years. Junior, I don't know what happened with Junior because Peanut was like maybe 12 pounds, Gidget was 8 pounds, and then Junior came out, and he was like, when he was born, he was half the size of Gidget already. Like, Gidget could not walk when she was pregnant because her belly was just so big. She couldn't walk, she was bedridden, and then gave birth, and Junior came out, and Junior was this like mutant chihuahua, super long spindly legs, and his skin, like, you could grab the back of his back skin and you could just stretch it up towards you and pull it like almost 1.5 feet off of him. His skin was so freaking stretchy. And he went to my cousin Nikki, and then Gidget got pregnant again and had puppies again, and that was when we got Brutus. So Brutus was like officially my first like dog growing up. And Brutus came out normal. I don't know what happened with Junior. Junior was just a mutant dog. But we loved him to death. And then we got Brutus, and Brutus was about the same size as Peanut, a little bit bigger. He lived to be about 18. And then I had Zoe. Zoe was my ex's dog, but she absolutely loved me, and I loved Zoe. She was a rat terrier. And when she passed away, that was when I got my Dexter. And then I ended up moving to Reno, met Eric, and our first Christmas together, we got Rascal. And he was our Christmas Eve doggy. And then when they both left us and we said our goodbyes to them, we got Onyx and Baxter. My next little old guys. Yeah, it makes it really hard when we're looking for a new place to move to. Like, I like the place we're in right now, but I don't want to, like, just in case like they ever see this, I'm not going to disparage them or anything, but like some things I'm not very happy about. So we are looking to move, but our lease is up in June or July. Although I do have a landlord that I already love. She was my, when Eric and I first moved, we got into our first apartment. She was the apartment manager there. And now she runs her own management company. I trust her. She's been one of the best managers I've ever had. And so we're probably going to be moving into one of her rentals. She is super excited that we want to stay with her. I already know what to expect with her. She's a good person, and she allows dogs, because that is a must with us. We could not get rid of Baxter or Onyx. I have heard that about beagles. I always wanted one, but my parents would not get a beagle when I was a kid because they're escape artists. It was the same reason. What was the other dog we want to get? Because they're escape artists. I don't remember the other breed, but there was another dog. Like my parents were absolutely like, no, we are not. They get out. Like they're great at getting out. We're not gonna get a dog that can escape. Yeah, they have a big impact on us. You love dogs, like all of them hold a special place in your heart. I just wish they lived a little bit longer. Never seems fair. Their lives always seem too short. It's like, okay, I can go out for 2 hours, but then it's dinner time and I need to be home in time for dinner. The most important part of the day. You cannot forget dinner. That's funny. Onyx is my little escape artist, but he doesn't come back. He just takes himself on a journey. Plus, he's little, and we live rather close to a very busy street. So, like, the 2 times he has gotten out in this place, I have absolutely like freaked out because we live really close to a busy street, and I'm always afraid that's the direction he's gonna go. But no, he both times he walked himself over to the 7-Eleven. So at least like I know the general direction he's gonna go. He wants to go to 7-Eleven. It's probably because he can smell all the food. We gotta have little leaves peeking out in the background. They're probably going to end up being a little mad at me now that I'm thinking about it. I didn't even consider that my live stream is going to be cutting into their normal walking time. It's actually in like a half an hour. Hopefully Eric gets back from the grocery store in time so he could take them. Otherwise, they're just going to go a little bit later. They get pushy. They are on a schedule. They know their schedule very, very well. And if anything deviates from their schedule, they're not very happy. She's like, you guys stop chasing me. Aren't you gonna chase me some more? At least she came back. I lost. Brutus never escaped. He just never even tried. Zoe didn't escape either, but Dexter did. Dexter scared the living crap out of me. I was panicked. This was like back in Las Vegas. I was driving home from my parents' house, and I had taken Dexter with me. Like he went everywhere except for like work and when I went to the store and that kind of stuff. But like if I was going to the park, my parents' house or friends' houses that had dogs, like Dexter would come with me. It's like he was part of the family. So like I would take Dexter to my parents' house. And afterwards we were on our way home and I didn't realize because Vegas is hot, so like I always had the windows open. I prefer the windows versus the air conditioning. And I had the front windows open, but not the back windows. But I didn't lock the windows, and he ended up rolling the back window down while I didn't even notice he had done it, and he had jumped out. And when I realized the window was down, I pulled over and I panicked because he was no longer in the car. And I started backtracking, trying to find him. And I was in tears, crying, like, oh my God, I lost my Dexter. Um, and luckily, because he was chipped and everything, a woman behind me saw Dexter jump out of the car and watched him just like tumble and roll. But I had kept going because like I didn't even notice he had stopped or like that he had done it. He'd done it while I was moving. But she pulled over, she picked him up, and she took him to the Humane Society. And I had also called the Humane Society to let them know like I had lost my dog, and he was in their system there because that's where I had adopted him. And about 45 minutes later, I ended up getting a call from the Humane Society to say, the Humane Society is currently, like, we're in the middle of closing, so you're not going to be able to pick him up tonight, but we have your dog. You can come pick him up in the morning. And I just, like, lost it. I felt like such a bad dog parent. I could not believe he had jumped out of my moving car. And I, like, could not believe I didn't even notice he had opened up the window enough to even jump out. And so now, like, that's another thing that super paranoids me when it comes to, like, with the dogs. The child locks are always on the windows now whenever the dogs are with me. I cannot have one of them jumping out again. Yeah, I can't believe he survived. That was the only thing running through my mind was like, he's dead. There's no surviving. He's a tiny little dog. He's like 16 pounds, and he jumped out of my moving car, and I think I was about to get on the freeway, so I wasn't quite at freeway speeds, but I was still like probably doing about like 35, 40 miles per hour when he jumped out of the car. He didn't even get hurt. He just rolled. He tucked and rolled, according to the lady, anyways, that stopped and picked him up. But I was just like, I was so distraught. And I will never let that happen again. So child locks, like, if you have dogs, make sure, and you have child locks on your windows, make sure the child locks are always on, because you just never know. Yeah, it was not a fun time. I was beating myself up for weeks after that. Like I was spoiling him rotten because I felt completely responsible for that. I didn't even notice him jumping out of the car. I didn't notice him rolling the window down. And it was like I had just looked at him when I was stopped at the stoplight, so he was in the car. I took off, and then like maybe like 4 minutes after that, like is when I realized the window was down, pulled over, and he was gone. Like it wasn't even that much time. And Vegas traffic is the main reason I do not miss living in Las Vegas. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the city because I grew up there. It's always going to have a special place in my heart, but uh, I do not miss that traffic at all. The city's like, the streets are always under construction. Nobody knows how to drive because it's such a transient city. You're just getting like a mix of driving styles that aren't necessarily compatible with each other. And then everybody's always in a hurry. And because Vegas is so big, it's like it is spread out. Like most cities are built upwards, Vegas is built outwards. It is such a sprawled out city that it takes like an hour and a half to 2 hours just to get across town. Yeah, I'm really glad that she stopped. She did leave a note for me. I couldn't get in contact with her or anything to thank her, but she did leave a note for me with the Humane Society to just tell me what happened. Okay, Space Hero. I hope you enjoy your, I think, evening. You said, and I'll probably be filming for like another 2 hours. Otherwise, I will catch you in a future one. My husband can't handle the driving down there either. Like Reno is starting to get like it's turning into a mini Vegas, but it's still like small enough that it's not like crazy crazy. But my husband can't stand driving in Vegas either. It's like everybody's just too aggressive. And then of course like you got like 8 lanes in some areas, and then the freeway will like go from 8 lanes down to 3 lanes, back up to 4 lanes, back down to 2 lanes, and it's just like this weird like compression as you're driving. I don't know if they have like I haven't been there in a couple of years, so I don't know if it's fixed now, but there are some spots on their freeways where I'm just like, why is it so narrow? It's like just creating these weird bottlenecks, and then it just opens back up to bottleneck again. Yeah, some of these city planners, I'm just like, what is going through your head? What makes you think that's okay? You're like, well, this part of the freeway is super congested, so we're gonna open it up. But you need to kind of open up the entire freeway if you're gonna do that. Otherwise, you're just creating weird bottlenecks. And now, while you may have alleviated some space in one part of the freeway, because of the bottleneck further down, it's still congested. It's still a mess. That's my home city. The entire city's a hot mess. It's one of the reasons why I had to move out of there. It was just not good for me. Like, I don't know if the straight bars are like this, but with the gay bars, especially in Vegas, it is way too easy to just get free alcohol nonstop. Uh, like, I'm gonna be talking about some of my bar days. So some of the bars I would go to, they would have what's called underwear nights. And if you were brave enough to just be in your underwear at the bar all night, you drank for free the entire night. And I had no qualms getting down into my underwear and just drinking, getting completely drunk. And it like so many of the bars down there did this that it just made it way too accessible, way too easy to get drunk. And it just was not good. I needed to get out of that city because it's just not a very good cycle to be in. Yeah, that's what I tell everybody about Vegas. It is a great city to visit, not to live. Well, so this was back in my early 20s. Like, I only ever had like one major hangover, and that was at 18 years old. I had moved into my first place. My roommate and we wanted to celebrate. So one of our friends had given us a couple bottles of rum, like really cheap rum, and I had never drank before. Well, no, I take that back. I had, but like I not enough to really ever get drunk because when I was like in high school, freshman, we would take sips and stuff from my friends' alcohol stash, but we always had to have to leave enough to make it look like we didn't actually have any of their alcohol. So it was never enough to really get drunk. Maybe a little bit of a buzz, but like never enough to get drunk. And so like that was my impression of alcohol. It's like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like I still feel about my wits. And when I moved into our first apartment, I had like no idea what I was expecting, and my friend, she had her own bottle, my roommate, I should say. She had her own bottle. She gave me my own bottle, and throughout the night we were just drinking this rum, and I ended up finishing off the entire bottle to myself because I just didn't understand limits. And I got ridiculously drunk. Apparently, that night, I had gotten really hungry, so I thought I could make like tortellini and Alfredo sauce while I was really drunk. That did not work. I ended up getting tortellini on the ceiling. She was not very happy with me on that. Like the next day, I was super hungover, and she's like, "I don't care how hungover you are cleaning the tortellini off of the ceiling. You did this. You're cleaning it up." So she was like my mom, just like standing there, making sure, like even with my hangover, I was scrubbing the tortellini off of the freaking ceiling. But like I don't even remember most of that. She just said like you got really drunk and you tried making tortellini, you got it all over yourself, and you're like, I need to take a shower, and then you just never came out of the shower. She's like, you were alive because whenever I would knock, you would grunt and moan to me, but that was it. And like I had woken up like maybe 4 hours later with the shower water running on me, and it was ice cold. So I was freezing in the shower, and that was when I woke up. I think like I had passed out like maybe 9 o'clock in the evening, 9 o'clock at night, and I woke back up at like 6 a.m. I was so hungover, and I have not been able to drink rum since. Like just the smell makes me feel super nauseous. I love the pinball museum. I have been there a few times. That was such a fun little experience. I remember when it was like still half empty and they were still getting their machines and filling it up. Yeah, now I don't even drink. After I moved up to Reno, I still had like, because I went back to college and stuff, I still had like some occasional drinking, but just nothing like I used to. It just wasn't as accessible. The gay bars up here don't have like underwear night where you drink for free in your underwear. I'm also now like old and I don't want to be a creep going to a bar in my underwear. Like that time in my life is done. I had my fun. It's time for other people to have their fun with it now. My favorite thing about the pinball museum is just all of the old machines. They've got like so many classic machines. And I'm like on the cusp. I was born in '86. So like I do still know arcades. My parents, when like I was super little, a toddler still, they'd go to the laundromat and they had a Pac-Man arcade game in the laundromat. And that was my favorite thing to do, even though like I would constantly die. I was not good at Pac-Man. I was 4 years old. It was like I loved going to the laundromat just because they had Pac-Man. Yep, I had that experience. It was fun for that time in my life, but like Eric drinks more than me, and he maybe has a glass of wine once a month. Like both of us are just kind of like, yeah, that's no longer like that's not our life anymore. We had our fun. That's the other reason why I love the pinball museum so much is it's so cheap and you can have so much fun and spend so much time there for so little money. That's also probably why I would constantly go out to the bars and drink was just because like I didn't have to spend any money. Everything else down there is just so expensive. You just kind of like take advantage of the free stuff. And even on the nights when we went to a bar where like we had to pay for drinks, we were still like we would pregame, but like unlike other cities where you would pregame at somebody's house, we would go to the casino and we would put like a dollar or two in a slot machine, do a penny bet. So we were just betting a penny at a time, and we would wait for the cocktail waitress to come over, get our drink. We would tip her like a dollar or two, and that was our pre gaming. We were pre gaming in the casino. Oh, if you go back to Vegas, I definitely like I agree with Asuma, you need to go check out the Pinball Museum. Especially because like you're an 80s baby as well. You know like the pinball machines, the arcades, like that's it's going to be super nostalgic for you. You absolutely must go check out the Pinball Museum. They also have a lot of modern stuff, but I do love all of the classic stuff. Yep. And that's why I really like living up here in Reno. We have Lake Tahoe only 45 minutes away from us, and it is probably one of the most beautiful places I have ever been on this planet. Um, and I've been to some really pretty places, but Lake Tahoe is just something else. And it's free. I mean, there are places now trying to charge for parking, and some of the parking's like $35 for 2 hours. But you can still find free parking up there, and it's just getting lost in the forest, listening to all of the birds and the chipmunks and squirrels. There's something just so different. I appreciate it now so much more being older than I would have as a teen or a young adult. Yeah, I have one painting I've done that's like semi inspired by Lake Tahoe, but I really want to go out there, get some pictures, and really like make a Lake Tahoe painting. It's like the quintessential thing that artists up in this area do is everybody has a Lake Tahoe painting. And I don't have an official Lake Tahoe painting yet, just an inspired by painting. You just got to be really careful if you ever do go up to Lake Tahoe because there are two trails around the lake. Like Lake Tahoe is a really big lake, but there are two trails that go around it that are nude trails. So like I was not aware of this when my parents were moving up here, and we ended up Eric and I took my mom out to Lake Tahoe, and we went on one of the trails without realizing it was the naked trail. And so like yeah, we were walking near naked people, and it was very awkward to have my mom there. And then we ended up stumbling upon one of the nude beaches too, and and my mom's like, "Are you purposefully taking me here?" Like, no, that was not my intention. Apparently, Eric like had an idea we were close to a nude beach, but he was cracking up. He thought it was freaking funny that I had taken my mom to the naked trail and the nude beach when we were just like trying to look for an easy trail to hike on. I had no idea. Like, I didn't even know there were naked trails around Lake Tahoe. So if you ever go hiking around Lake Tahoe, do look it up because there are naked trails. And if you don't want to see naked people, don't go on one of those trails. So if you ever have like a week where you could travel through Nevada, I would say like start in Las Vegas, and then you would want to go up into like some of the old mining towns on the east side of the state. So like Ely and Pioche are really fun old mining towns. There's so much hiking to do around them, and there's some really pretty natural parks or national parks around there. So like near Pioche, there is Cathedral Gorge, which is a windswept canyon, and the wind and rain have carved the walls of this canyon where it almost looks like it was once a cave, but the top of the cave is gone. But it's not. It's just the way that the rain and the wind has carved all of the sandstone to look like stalactites or stalagmites? So one of them, but they're like all in the ground. I highly suggest Cathedral Gorge. There is nothing on this planet that looks like it. Is so alien looking, but it's such a cool national park. Then you got Great Basin, so like you could go up more north towards like Elko and Winnemucca. There's a lot of fun things to do out there. Lots of old west style stuff. Lots of mining. There's still so much mining out, especially near Winnemucca and Elko. So like you could go see old mines. Same thing in Ely, Nevada. Like lots of trains. If you're big into trains, you'll really love going to like Ely, Elko, Winnemucca. There's lots of train stuff out there because the trains were the main machinery driving the mines. And then you can like come out towards Reno after that. So like even though Winnemucca is closer to the east side of the state, and Reno's on the west side of the state, it's maybe like a 3.5 hour drive between here and Winnemucca, which Eric's from Winnemucca, so like we do go out there quite often. But it's not that bad of a drive. There's also a bunch of other fun little things. Lots of natural hot springs between Winnemucca and here. So if you like looking for natural hot springs, you could go out into the desert and find one of the springs. Lots of mining towns, so many little mining towns, and so many of them are just ghost towns. Nobody lives there anymore, but all the buildings are still standing, and they're just kind of cool to kind of like see all of the old wood buildings kind of like dilapidated and some fallen and some leaning. I one of my favorite things to do is just like go through these ghost towns because they're all over in Nevada. And then you could come into Reno, and then from Reno, like of course it's like a little Vegas, but you can go up to like Lake Tahoe. You could go over into Carson City, and there's a train museum out there as well. We also got Virginia City, which is another like old town, and apparently like one of Mark Twain's favorite cities to be in was Virginia City. And they still run the trains out there as well, and it's very old west. A lot of the buildings are still super old, but very well maintained, still standing. And then over into Lake Tahoe, and then from there you could go like back down along the west side of the state, and there's like Genoa, which is the first city in Nevada, and they still have all of their old buildings standing up. If you go like towards end of September, beginning of October, they have what's called the Candy Dance, and it's a huge craft festival. And then like they do lots of fun things for kids and families, and give out lots of homemade candy. Oh my goodness, I got so sick eating all of the fresh candy out there. So many people make really amazing candies. So like there's a whole lot to do in the state. It's just very spread out, and Nevada is a huge state. And so it's like gonna take hours to get from city to city, but if you could do it, I highly encourage it. Like Ely is one of my favorite cities in the state. Genoa is a lot of fun. It's just got some old town charm, kind of like a mix between like you take a old town America like from the Midwest and you place it in the Sierra Nevadas, and that's Genoa. Then you got, of course, like all of the natural wonders out here. The desert's a really pretty place. Oh, and of course, like you can also go out and see where they used to do the nuclear test site out near Area 51. Oh, you actually live near Pioche. I'm off like rambling. That's cool. I love Pioche. I used to go out there for the Labor Day run all the time. We would stay at the Pioche Motel. We would rent out the motel had a basement that had like multiple rooms in it, and then a living space in the center. And we would rent out the basement unit to do the Labor Day run and take part in all of the Labor Day activities. My dad is a steam locomotive engineer for the ghost train out there. I grew up in that train yard. I would go to Garnet Hill and hunt for garnets, hunt for trilobites, because there's also lots of fossils in that shell, the shell rock. And my dad would go on the train excursions. I used to help out with like the snack bar on the concession stands on the train. I would also do tours because I learned so much about the train yard. They ended up like, do you want a job? So at 11 years old, I was taking groups of people on tours around the train yard, taking them to places I probably shouldn't have been taking them. But I was like, you're with me, so you're going to get the exclusive backstage pass, and you're going to get to see inside the engine house, and we're going to go inside the coach house, and we're going to go over to the water tower, the conductor's quarters. Because I had just learned so much about the train yard out there. Like, yeah, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna sell tours, and you can give people tours of the train yard. I've been all over Nevada. It is my favorite state I've been in. I've been all through California. I will say, though, I do love the redwood forest and the sequoias. Sequoia National Park is my favorite national park I've ever been to, just because those trees are amazing. And I do love California, but I like Nevada a little bit better. Same thing with Oregon, Washington, Utah. I will say Utah's like a close second with Nevada. I love Bryce Canyon, Dinosaur National Monument. And then Arizona, I think is like starting to teeter on just a little too hot. And I really don't like the storms out there and the haboobs, where like you got a thunderstorm coming in, and because the desert is so flat, the storm like had gotten over the mountain, but it's still holding all the water, and then it just gets to a point where it can no longer hold the water, so all the water just falls out of the cloud at once. And when it does that, it hits the desert sand with enough force that it kicks it up and makes a dust cloud, kind of like when you like slam your foot down into the ground, you can see like a little puff of smoke or dust coming out from under your feet. The storm cloud does that, but it's on a massive scale, and it creates this giant dust storm called a haboob, and it's just a wall of dust that's going towards you. Those are not fun. I've gotten stuck in a few of those. Like your eyes are burning, it's hard to breathe. You gotta find cover as quickly as you can. At first it's just kind of like, you just see the wall of dust coming and you're like, oh, that's kind of pretty, because I've seen most of them at sunset, so like they're glowing in these really pretty pinks and oranges and yellows and glistening almost, because there's, there's silica in the dust, and so it's shimmering, and it's like this giant glitter cloud, and you're like, oh, that's really pretty, and then it just is on top of you, and then you're like, I can't breathe, my eyes are burning, this is no longer pretty, this is no longer fun. Yeah, I haven't been to Bryce Canyon in a minute. I need to go back. The last time I was out at Bryce Canyon was 20, I want to say 2010. I used to like go camping out in Utah a lot too, like out near Beaver Lake. Um, Cedar City is another really pretty place. Around, of course, Mount Tempanoga. I've been up there a few times and tried camping out there. But Bryce Canyon is just, yeah, I really love Bryce Canyon. I also have a painting, well, I have a sketch inspired by Bryce Canyon that I can't wait to get painting. And then, let's see, what was another? Wyoming. I'll say there's a weird charm about Wyoming. Devil's Gate is probably like my favorite landmark out there, but the state is just so flat. It's one of those very flat states, and it has a weird prettiness about it. I will say though, like I went in the springtime, and when we drove out there, everything was still covered in snow, and that was like pretty like breathtaking to see because I was still living in Las Vegas at the time, and I hadn't really been in snow, so that was like my first major experience with snow, and I was like, this is intense, but it's so pretty, especially at night. Like you have a clear sky and the moon's just glistening on all of this freshly laid snow. I was helping a friend move down to Phoenix from, uh, oh, where was he from? It was, I think, Clara, Wyoming, somewhere outside of Cheyenne. But we were helping him move, and so I was there for a while because we were helping him pack up and get everything loaded up for him to be able to move. And on our way back, like all the snow had melted, and then I got to see a different part of Wyoming. I did think it was really pretty with covered in snow. I wouldn't mind going out there and exploring some more though. Definitely need to go see some more states because the only other states I had been in after that is Texas, but I was only there in San Antonio when my brother was graduating from his boot camp with the Air Force, and so we went to San Antonio. Also, like Texarkana and Diamond Crater, so I've been a little bit in Arkansas. And then Florida, I've been around the state of Florida a little bit. That was for a work trip. Went to Disney World. I will say, like, I love going to Disneyland. It's probably going to be a minute before I could go back because it's just so expensive. But when I went to Disney World, I was all by myself. And I did not have to wait really in any of the lines because it was raining. People didn't want to go. But I was like, I only have limited time, so I'm coming no matter what. And because I was a single rider, I got like to cut through the line because everybody else was in groups, and they're like, "We need one rider, one rider, one rider." So like I would just like, "I'm one rider." Got to go on all of the rides. I got to go on the Avatar ride there multiple times, even though it had just opened when I had left. Like when I had gotten there, it would just open. Wait times in the lines was like 3 hours, but they had a single rider line, and nobody was a single rider. So I had gone to go on it like 3 times. I was very stoked about that. So if you ever have an opportunity, I highly encourage going to Disneyland or Disney World when you're by yourself. Bypass all those lines. It isn't quite right. I think the yellow is what's throwing me off. I'm like adding more and more and more to this bush because I'm like, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. Like some of the dried bits look right. Like, yeah, it's the same. It's the yellow that's throwing it off. That's color theory right there. Just like messing me up. And I'm just like overdoing it because I can't seem to get the the pale olive to look right. But it's because there's no yellow in it yet. Yeah, there it is. That's getting too caught up in the pale olive and not enough of adding in the yellow. It's gonna be a very thick and lush bush. This bush, no. This is just like some shrubbery in the background. I honestly don't even know what kind of bush this is. I've seen them in landscaping, especially around Vegas. They're just kind of the leaves form like star shapes, and they just go up the branch in that star shape. That's kind of like what I'm mimicking with this. The baby's breath is right here, and I still got to add in some of the highlights with that, and then do the cluster of white flowers. That's really gonna what make that look like baby's breath. And then these darker plants right here, those are the lilies, and they're gonna be like purple and orange stargazer lilies. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Yeah, my idea was to kind of like create a bouquet of flowers, but like in the landscaping. And so I know like some of those branches of that bush, I just don't remember the name of it, but like where the star pattern in it, like those are used in floral arrangements, baby's breath especially. Lilies tend to have like a very like they're associated with those who have passed. And so I plus Cass really likes lilies, so she picked out the colors of the lilies. So I felt like I wanted to try and do like a bouquet, but as the meadow and the field itself. That's like the direction I'm trying to take the plants. And I'm probably like way overthinking it, and I'm gonna end up like covering up stuff I'm spending hours on, but it does really help make the plants feel alive and just lush. So at the same time, like I kind of like that because I don't know if it's gonna pick up on the camera, but like I can see in the background the individual leaves still underneath these the more highlighted leaves. Let's tone you down a little bit. I haven't really done lilies too much. I've made paper lilies, but I really love lilies too. I always wanted to have a garden filled with lilies when I was really little. But that was just because like I got everywhere when I was growing up would bring out live lily plants for Easter. And so like I got really like accustomed to seeing lilies, and I've always thought they were really pretty flowers. Hello, Jay of all trades. It is 10:30 for me, so happy afternoon for you, but good morning from me. Yep, I like that now. That's looking much better. It was just missing that touch of cadmium yellow. Also, for anybody that's out there just watching, like, feel free to join in the conversation. I am an open book. I chat. I ramble. I am perfectly open to chat and about almost anything. You can ask whatever questions you would like to ask as well. If you have anything you would want to ask me about my art, about my dogs, about my life growing up. Do you like to share anything that's going on with you? Want to vent about current events in the world? Be my guest. Everybody needs an outlet, and I'll let you vent. Just as long as you don't disparage others. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, don't punch down. We only punch up. Don't punch down on others. I'm definitely gonna have to add in some more yellow, but it's starting to tie in a lot better with the background. I need to get a new tattoo. I say do it. Do it for me. I have been itching to get another tattoo. I don't have very many. If you guys didn't know this, I have 3. I have 2 on my back, which I'm not going to show right now because I just don't feel like getting undressed. It is way too cold for that. But I have a Pisces I designed on my right shoulder, and then a tiger I designed on my left shoulder. My tiger is my least favorite because at the time I loved this friend. He was learning how to do tattooing, and I wanted to support him. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want. And lesson learned. I definitely need to get it touched up. Like, I can fix it. It's just getting it touched up. And then on my leg, my left leg, I have my Yeti footprint signature. I designed that when I was 19, and I got it tattooed on my leg, and it's now my artist signature. I will probably eventually show that one day. Oh, nice! I love Creative Paula's books. If you can't tell, like, that's gonna fall. I literally got one right here. I need to go pick that up. I have a counterweight on my light because, like, otherwise the light will fall forward, and I knocked that over. So I needed to pick that up just so, like, while I'm painting, I've already had my camera arm slide down on me once. I don't need the entire, like, fixture just falling on top of me while I'm painting. I love Paula's books. They're one of those feel good books when I'm really like needing some inspiration but need to have like relaxing inspiration. I like working in her books. I need to do some more. I kind of want to do another like coloring with paper video. There's just something about Paula's coloring book that's so nostalgic. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It makes you feel good. I didn't get it because I was thinking I might get it for Christmas. So there's Ashley Monet's, and then Emma Nazabi, Emma Nazabi's art. She has a coloring book as well. It's more like an activity prompt coloring book. I hope I'm saying Nazabi right. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Emma Nazabi art on YouTube. Let me just show you guys if you don't know who she is. She's got her own book out too, and I was holding off just in case I got them for Christmas, but I didn't. So Nazabi, Emma Nazabi art. So like this is Emma, and she's got her own coloring book as well. And I really want to get it because it's one of those like adventure books, and since I like to go out on hikes, you could take it with you, and it's supposed to like inspire artwork from wherever you're traveling or wherever you're outside at, like if you just go on a walk. And so I really want that one. But my birthday's next month, and so since I didn't get Ashley Monet's book or Emma's book for Christmas, since my birthday's next month, I'm already hinting to my husband like I really want these two. Also, Cassie's books. I held off on those ones too because I was thinking I might get those. But I can't complain because like I got a new craft cart that I can put all my paints and stuff in, and that was like my big Christmas present. So like I can't complain because I definitely needed that a little bit more. But now like I want some coloring books. I want some more coloring books. I'm actually like pondering myself working on some kind of book. I just haven't established like what. I did get of course I have my create this book, and then I have Chantel's book, How Much Art Can You Make? So like I have these, and I was thinking like maybe I could do like an emotional awareness type of art prompt book, or maybe I could do like a coloring book, but I haven't decided. One of my goals, like before I started my YouTube channel, was to actually like design a coloring book for the Pokemon Company, because Disney will partner up with artists and they will release officially coloring books that the entire book is done by a single artist. And they're for adult coloring books. I was kind of hoping I could get maybe the Pokemon Company to do that, but I need a I need to be able to make digital art, and I don't have a tablet. And I just got a computer, so like maybe I could start on the computer, like all of my sketches of Pokemon, being able to bring them over and then turn them into digital art so that I can make like an adult coloring book. I think that would be really cool. But I couldn't release that on my own. I would have to be partnered with the Pokemon Company because I do not want to get sued. I do not want to get the attention of a multi-million-dollar company for a lawsuit. But I have gotten noticed by one of the original creators, Junichi Masuda, the musician. He makes all the Pokemon music. I did get his attention once on Threads. He saw one of my Pokemon paintings and he liked it and said it was good. Which totally made my day. Definitely plans for in the future. Maybe something I could start by the end of this year. I do have a whole bunch of projects though. I definitely want to finish. I need to get my shop up and going. That's something I'm going to be working on this year. I'm gonna be I just for the time being, I'm gonna have to use a print service. So I definitely like need to start playing around with like how is that going to look, what are my expectations going to look like for my products. I want to make sure they're good, high quality. I also want to make sure like they're products people want to buy. Like I definitely think some of my art would look really good on sweaters or t-shirts, so I do want to have those in my shop as well as prints, possibly stickers, but I need to play around some more with like being able to cut aspects of my artwork out of the artwork itself so that I could turn them into stickers. I have a Printful account. I have played around a little bit with them, so I do kind of agree with you there. So far, from what I've seen, I do like, but their prices are also like that's the other thing. Like a shirt for Printful, like the quality shirts that I would want to get are like 15 to 20 bucks already. Some of them are even more, like up to 30 bucks. And so like then I have to think about like, okay, so what am I going to price this at so that I can still make some money off of it, but not price gouge everybody because I don't want to price people out of my artwork. If somebody likes something, I want to be able to have something that they could afford. And like, I was looking at the hoodies. I would almost have to have a hoodie on there for 60 bucks. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm that good of an artist to be selling hoodies with my artwork on it for 60 bucks. And some like, I think like I would have to have even more, like almost $80 just to like I could cover shipping or anything else. But I am working towards it. It's just stuff I have to work through. My husband's going to help me out with that. He's actually working on a certificate for work. So he's been studying for tests and things like that. So at the moment, um, I'm kind of on my own. But once he finishes that, then I will. He's going to help me out a little bit. So I'll have some help. Not won't hopefully get too overwhelmed. And this is all like his kind of forte. He's more of the analytical person. So I can lean on him a little bit there. I'm the creative one, he's the analytical one. But they are goals. I am working towards that. I had to shut it down though after all the tariffs and everything cuz so many of the products that I was selling in my shop, they just didn't have them. They weren't offering them anymore, and so like I had no products left. And then everything else like shot way up in price. And so I was like, well, I have to close my shop for now. It is what it is, and wait till things stable out a little bit better, and make sure that prices aren't too expensive. That's my biggest concern. Like I've been homeless before in my life. I'm not a super like well off person. I feel I'm privileged enough, but like I wouldn't even consider myself middle class. And so like I understand the struggle. It's not fun, it's not easy, and I don't want to price people out of my artwork. I don't want to be that kind of artist. I am definitely gonna have to add some pale pale green or olive green, the pale olive. Some of these back bushes just to tie them in a little bit better. They are not looking the same. You know, like the colors are there. I use too much of the pale olive. I'm gonna have to fix it. Not that big of a deal though. Yeah, I don't want to like Hi, Courageous Painting. I'm so happy you joined. Things I gotta work through and figure out like my prices so I can offer things that I like. I already feel bad like when people like I want to get a commission from you, but like I have to try to price my paintings accordingly. Like this painting, if I were to sell it, if it wasn't a gift for a friend because she had lost her nephew, this probably would be about $1,200 to $1,400, and it's not even a big painting. And I always feel bad like telling people like this is what I charge, but I charge roughly $20 an hour. Like it's just the easiest way for me to do. I've always had hourly jobs, so I try to like, what would I need to be able to survive? And that's roughly about $20 an hour. It also gives me some wiggle room, like I could play around with the price a bit. It takes into account my art supplies. And I've been making art long enough, I can kind of give a rough estimate for how long a painting's going to take me. This one's slowing me down because I'm doing lives with it, so it is taking me a little bit longer, but I'm okay. Like this is for a friend. But my other paintings, they'll take between 40 to like 150 hours for some. And so like trying to price those out at the like $20 an hour, like that's a lot of money. And I have to think about like, well, I'm putting in 40 hours worth of work on a single painting. That is technically a work week. And like I need to think about like what would I expect of a paycheck for a work week's worth of work. And I always advocate to everybody else. I'm like, don't you dare underprice me when I try getting commissions. I'm like, no, don't drop it. I want you to charge your worth. And so I'll always advocate for other people. Like, yes, make sure you're pricing your worth. $20 an hour, I think, is like for just the current landscape is a good price to shoot for as an artist. But everybody's got like their own like price point. But if you are looking like just to start out, that's my suggestion. About $20 an hour. It takes into account the supplies, your experience, the time, and I feel like that's a great way to kind of like price out your paintings. Yeah, that's the other thing is like the time frame. My videos are very deceptive because I speed them up. Because there's no way I could fit 40 hours into like a 25-minute long video. I have to speed it all up, and so like that makes it very deceptive. They're like, well, like it can't be that long. I'm like, no, about every minute and a half to 2 minutes is like 5 hours or 3 to 5 hours in some of my videos. Like they're sped up. And it just depends. Like some of my artwork, like when I'm paper crafting, those don't take as long. Or like the coloring books and stuff, those don't take as long. But these paintings, they take so much time. And like I had one person like, I need a present for a wedding. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I want to give him a painting, and this is the picture I want to use. And I was like, okay, so that's gonna take me about like this long, and I have a wait list, so I'll be able to start it in like 2-3 months at the soonest. And that's just given if everything starts on time. They're like, no, the wedding's next week. No, there's no way that I could get a painting done next week. I'm sorry. You might have to find a different artist. I'm already booked up with commissions, and the type of painting you're wanting is going to take more than 40 hours. Hello, Frosty Lizard. Yeah, you totally get it, Christine. I've seen your work. Like you also have a crazy level of detail in your work. So I know you get it. And that's 3 to 5 hours condensed into a minute and a half. I have some of my YouTube videos, like Protect Your Peace. That painting took me like between 60 and 70 hours. and the video is only 23 minutes long. So like there's almost 70 hours worth of work condensed into a 23-minute long video. That's why I have like 7 terabytes worth of video footage at the moment that I really need to go through and clean up, because my husband was like looking at me and he's like, "You've almost used up 10 terabytes worth of data for videos." I kind of need to go through and clean those up because like I have all my raw footage still. So live wedding painters, most that I have talked to, they do not finish the painting at the wedding. So what they do is they'll like get their picture or their reference that they are using, and typically they'll start part of it before the wedding even starts. Like they see the venue where the wedding's gonna be at, and they'll get part of the background done before even starting on the bride and the groom at the wedding itself. And then when they're at the wedding, they'll kind of like block out the bride and the groom, and they'll get some of the detail work done at the wedding, but that's not a lot of time. You're talking like maybe 5 to 6 hours at most in the wedding. And so they only got part of the painting done there. Then they take it home and they finish off the painting at home. Every wedding painter I've ever talked to about that, that's kind of their process, or it's something similar. They start part of the painting beforehand. They only work on the bride and the groom in the painting during the wedding. They take it home, finish it up, and then they ship it to the bride and the groom. Yeah. I a lot of it is not even that great of footage. That's probably what I could go through and like get rid of. And I'm even thinking now, like, I have my videos, which are so much less space. Like, my normal video that I upload to YouTube is like maybe 20 gigabytes. So like I could use that and it would take up so much less space than like I don't know, like the 200 300 gigabytes of data just for like one painting. I admire character artists as well. I have a couple friends. Chuck Lee. Oh my goodness, I love Chuck Lee's characters, his caricatures. But he does take a little bit more time with his too. But I have a couple character artists that I follow on Instagram that I absolutely love. It blows my mind how quickly they work. I'm sitting here like painting, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you make me feel so inadequate. You like bust out a piece of artwork that looks like the person, and like it's a caricature of them, and you did it in 15 minutes. It's also the medium though. Like that's the other thing you got to think about. The medium will dictate how quickly you can create something. My paper crafts, it's so much easier to just cut out the paper into the shape that I need, and they'll take maybe like 10 to 20 hours to complete. Versus a painting, if I were to do almost the same thing as a painting, will take about 20 to 40 hours. So like your medium will also change how quickly things can get done. Pencils, markers, I feel like I work a lot faster with them than I do with paints. Same thing with the papers. So that's another thing to take into account. Like your medium that you're using, that's going to dictate how quickly you can get done. The portrait I did of Eric and I, that took me months because I was using oil paints, and oil paints take forever to dry, and I had to wait for different sections of the painting to dry so they wouldn't blend in with the new parts. But that's also why like so many character artists, they don't color in their work because coloring is going to take a lot more time too. It's like all sketched out. Although there were some character artists down on the Las Vegas Strip that I've seen that they can color as well, and you just go sit down in the chair and you're just chatting with them for like 20 minutes, and the next thing you know they're done and the whole thing's colored, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's crazy your level of skill. Another type of artist that I'll see out on this strip in Las Vegas are the spray painting artists, and those are another like group of artists I'm absolutely fascinated by. I kind of want to try it one day, but like I'm also super intimidated by it. So like they just have this booth and they're just like layering things and objects on top of the page, and then they spray paint, and then they remove the object, and then they spray paint something else, and then they add something else on there. Like you got this like big circle disc thing, and then they're spraying around it to make it look like a planet is glowing up in the sky, and then like they have these paper cutouts, and they're making like quick mountains, and then they're like scratching it to add in all this weird texture, and then like before you know it, they've created this amazing looking landscape using spray paint in like 5 minutes. It just blows my mind, the creativity of some people. One of my favorite things to watch when I go down there are some of those like spray painting artists. The only thing I think you really need to worry about with oil paints are you need to be aware that some of the oils are toxic, and you need to be cognizant of the fumes. Especially like if you're using sealers as well, those for oil paints, those can be very toxic. But other than that, there are so many brands of paints out there now that are like self-sealing, so you don't even have to apply a sealant to them. They also got fast drying oils, but I do encourage all artists to try oil painting at least once. Nothing is going to teach you how to blend like oil paints. They're on a whole other level. I started with oil paints before moving to acrylics, and that's actually why I paint in like almost like an oil painting style, because I learned with oil paints first, but I loved the blending techniques that you would use, and so I really wanted to try to incorporate that with acrylic painting. I have enjoyed chatting with you too, Asuna. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I love that somebody's in my community that's from middle of Nevada, especially out near Pioche. That blew my mind. Like nobody's ever known about Pioche whenever I brought it up, so totally like made me smile. That is definitely one of the advantages to acrylic paint. I like that it dries quickly as well. And I like that it's not too quick, that I could still take time to blend. Like all of this, it was definitely blended out like oil paints, but I moved a little quickly with the blending. So like I could blend the colors together without like totally making them disappear, similar to a way like with an oil. You just got to move like kind of quick with it. So I do like that there's things that you can do with acrylic paints that are very similar to oil paints, but then that it dries super quick. Like I can go over all of these leaves now after going over them earlier, and I don't have to worry about the greens blending together. That definitely livened up this little part right here. I need to add in some yellow to it, but first... Oh, you're on the Utah side. Okay. Yeah. I definitely need to travel along the west side of Utah a little bit more. But I totally am glad that you found my community and that you're a part of it. That totally made my day. Maybe I can do a craft fair and you'll actually get to see me at a craft fair one day. Who knows? Nevada and Utah are very definitely known for their craft fairs. Let's get some of this pale olive in those bushes. Okay, I just realized my playlist is playing the same songs over. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing. I do love my Pokemon music. Yep, that's going to tie him in. I hope you have a wonderful day. What in the world is happening with that? I will definitely make an announcement. If I ever do any craft fairs, I will make an announcement. I see Mirabilo doing them, and I daydream like, oh, maybe one day I could do that. So I have a couple ideas. Like, I gotta say, like, a lot of you out there in my community totally gave me the idea. There was a lot of encouragement with the salt dough ornaments that I made with the dogs. I could totally like make a whole bunch of those and decorate them to sell at a craft fair or something like that. So like that's one idea, especially because so many craft fairs are in the fall. Christmas ornaments would definitely be almost a must, and I could do all sorts of different things on them. I could do like little snippets of landscapes on them, depending on the size of the bulbs that I make the ornaments. I could do more dog print ones. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone else's dog print for someone to love it, to just have like a little doggy print. So that's something. And then, of course, prints, t-shirts. But definitely got to work up to it. So the color's kind of starting to match. I just need to lighten it a little bit more. I feel like I did too much in that one. Oh well. I'll probably end up getting covered by a lily anyways. That's the other thing. I gotta make sure like it's not blending into the little white specks, the baby's breath out there. That's so cool. That is a really cool idea. Paint kits to help your dogs paint? Or for dogs so they can paint? I've thought about trying to do artwork with the dogs. The best I got were those salt dough ornaments just because, like, Onyx really doesn't like his paws being touched, and because Onyx doesn't like his paws being touched, Baxter, like, he tolerates it more, but Baxter doesn't like his paws being touched too much either. So I try to respect them that they don't like their paws being touched. I bet you could find some for cats, Christine. That would be so cool. Like I could see like trying to make a painting with their paw prints walking around it, and you got like paint along the sides, and then you're like walking across the board with the tree, trying to get your cat to walk across the canvas with with different colored paw prints. That would be a fun painting. I wonder if I could get the dogs to do that. I know a cat would probably be more willing to do something like that than the dogs. But maybe. Maybe other people's dogs. just just give me the treat, don't make me walk for it. Or they would be like Dexter, my old dog Dexter. He hated things on his paws. He once, we had taken him out to go to the bathroom. Like, I was living in an apartment this time, so of course I had to leash them up and take him outside. I was paying attention to Rascal, and Dexter is just like walking along, and he stepped in a container of McDonald's jelly. Like, one of my neighbors, obviously, they opened it and then they threw it, but it was still full of jelly. And as he was walking, his little paw just went right into the little container with the jelly on it. And the way he picked up his paw was like, I touched something gross. So he totally would not have been about that paint life. He would not have wanted it. He was such a princess when it came to that kind of stuff. Like, it's gross and I'm touching it. that that is a really good idea, though. Your friend is very clever, Jay. I might have to see what I could do with the dogs and getting them to create paint. Or if I can't do anything with it, then at least I do have my salt dough ornaments. Some kind of artwork with them. Okay, I kind of like this though. It's making the bushes stand out a little bit more from the trees. They were kind of blending together, like back here still. They're still kind of like blending together. Adding a little bit more of a pale olive definitely helps separate them. I miss my Dexter. He was a really good dog. Quite a little personality on that one. He was such a diva. Yeah, you've shared some stories about your little Dexter. He sounds like a goofball. uh, I will say though, like I really wish I wasn't allergic to cats. My best friend, she had a cat named PETA, which stood for pain in the A, and so that was their cat, PETA. And PETA had such a huge personality. Like her dad, like this was way back when I was like in high school. Like her dad would be cooking in the kitchen and PETA would sit on the counter and like he'd be like stirring stuff doing this and PETA would kind of like be mimicking him while sitting on the counter and just staring at him. Like it's like I had never seen a cat try to mimic their person, but PETA would just be standing up there like her dad would go and grab a spice or something and then like PETA would just kind of like knock something off of the counter and then start like moving his paw around and then her dad would get like, stop knocking stuff off the counter. And I'm just sitting there like watching PETA. It was just such a weird cat. And I really wish like I wasn't so allergic to them because they have such big personalities too. But my favorite though, like she had another cat called Kitty, and Kitty was big, big Kitty. It was so funny. PETA and Big Kitty both ate the same thing, but Big Kitty also had some like health issues. So, like, Big Kitty was a big cat. I'm talking like I think Kitty was like 32 pounds, a big cat, and Kitty would like so big. He had the spot on the wall he would walk over to whenever he felt like grooming himself, and he would just kind of like walk there, and it was almost kind of like I don't know, like this gyrating motion that he would make. It was like I would imagine what a potato sack would look like if it could walk. It was just so. He was such a funny cat, but he would go walk over to the wall, and then he would turn around against the wall, so his butts up against the wall, and he would just kind of sit, and then he would like throw himself against the wall, so only his hind legs are on the ground, and then he would just kind of like scoop up his belly and start grooming his belly. It was probably one of the most adorable things I'd ever seen a cat do. He, like, even given all his health problems, he was a very happy cat, lived for a very long time. I think he was like 23 when they said goodbye to Kitty. I'd never seen a cat as big as him, at least house cat. And everybody was like, you need to put Kitty on a diet. Like, Kitty and PETA ate the same thing. PETA was very, like, a very slender cat, very happy, healthy. But Kitty just had health problems. It was just the way Kitty was born. And they loved Kitty regardless. And I mean, living to 23, that's quite a long time for a cat. I didn't even, like, that was the first time I'd ever heard of a cat living that long. Mr. Baxter, slow down. Baxter. There you go. Come back to reality. Yeah, you're going to throw up. Sir. Baxter. Ugh. Hey, buddy. Goodness, you got to slow down. The water's not going nowhere. Yeah. That's why I try to get you to slow down. I don't want you choking. I don't know what happened with Baxter before us, but one of the things he does is he drinks water like he's never going to get it again. He does the same thing with food, and that could just been like the kennels when he was there before we adopted him. And it could also have been prior owner, but he was a big boy, so I feel like he was getting fed with the prior owner. Yeah, Kitty was a big cat and just old. Lived a very long, happy life. At least he slowed down. You just gotta watch it because he'll drink so much of water so quickly that it just makes him sick and he'll puke. I'm just trying to work with him, get him to understand like the water's going to be there. We're not gonna take it away. It's not going anywhere. It's the same thing with his food. Just trying to work with him and let him know like you're in a safe place. You're always gonna have food. You don't have to worry about it. It's not going nowhere. Yeah, I like that. It definitely helped those bushes stand out. And I see one right back here that I can make pop up a little bit better. Just add a little bit of separation. Yeah, now I feel like the bushes tie in a little bit better. Like, just that little bit of green. Into the pale olive green. Alright, so that just leaves like this bush. All I gotta do is just add in a little bit more of the cadmium yellow, and then that's gonna tie in perfectly with the background bushes. Now I gotta work on these ones over here. I need a little bit of a darker. I just gotta make sure like I'm also trying to envision where I'm going to be placing the Pokemon and Kenny when I put him in here. So, like, that's why I try not doing too much here. I want to make sure there's some of the background, so, like, whatever pose I end up putting him in, like, the background will still be showing through. Like, if, like, I have him going to catch, and there's just like a little gap between his arm and his torso. Like you can still see part of the ground that it still continues there. And then like Cinderace the Pokemon, I really want somewhere around this area. I don't want to cover the sun, so I gotta have him somewhere like around it. I also don't want to cover too much of this, so maybe like maybe right there in the background, have Kenny up here, and then thinking about the leaves, I'm thinking Jirachi's probably going to be somewhere here, but Pikachu's right there. So like, I do try to take into account like the direction I'm taking it, but I really like the how like between all of these little blades, you can still see the background that it still continues there. Because that's when I look at a picture, that's what I see. I always see the background continuing. I want to try to do the same thing. Thank you, Christine. I really want to make this a special painting. 11 years old is definitely too soon for to lose a child. I mean, no one should lose a child. 11 was just so young. Got to do my best to make this a perfect painting for my friend. I think what I'm also going to do, because I also know my friend Cass's sister, I think what I'm going to end up doing, since this is for Cass, because I am closer with Cass than I am her sister, but I think what I'm eventually going to do when this is done is I am going to go through like printfuls, since I've already been looking at them. I could test out a print and make a bigger print for Cass's sister. So like give the painting to Cass and then make a big print for Cass's sister. Yeah, I'm liking this. I can also kind of see like little clovers and stuff. I might put in some uh, dandelions as well, like little clovers and the like little white and pink flowers from the clovers, and just like a little spots of dandelions. Each day I'm adding more. I'm working on it. Getting all the layers up. Yeah, want to do my best to capture the joy and sense of adventure Kenny had. It's one of the reasons it's taken me like so long with this painting is trying to make sure I'm capturing the right emotion into it. I tend to get in my own head, and if I don't feel like I'm in the right space, then like I just sit here and I don't actually work on the painting. Why I've got so many works in progress. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for, like with this galaxy sky. It's just a space that like it's kind of hard to imagine, because like everybody thinks of like how heaven would be differently, and everybody's got a different idea of it. So I really wanted to try to capture like what I envision heaven to be, and it just I kind of feel like it would definitely be a mix of some of our most beautiful spots on Earth with the stars. So I really wanted to try to capture like that blending together. This was a little difficult trying to get the sky to kind of like work together. That's why I created like that cloud barrier. Is it really helps differentiate like the sunset aspect of it with the night sky and the stars in a very unique way. I really like the way that that came together. I really want to try to experiment more with that. Just more ways of like I could blend that type of sky together. Oops, went the wrong direction with that one. All right, so just to give everybody a heads up, um, I'm probably gonna stay live for about another 30 minutes, just so like I can get back to editing my video, so I could try to get it up tomorrow. That I'd say that's my goal, but it's also how well I can focus on it. But just finishing it up, I still got a couple more like videos that I need to get spliced into my main video for tomorrow. So it's getting that part together, and it's just the re-downloading and splicing and inserting and rendering that takes so freaking long. But I do want to make sure I put some work into it today. While also then like making sure Eric and I get the rest of our chores and stuff done. Like I still got to clean the backyard. We got some snow the other day, and I got to go pick up the dog's messes out there, which is all frozen to the ground because of the snow. But I got to pick that up before it defrosts because I don't need the backyard stinking. And then I also got to take them on their walk. Although they've been pretty good. Normally they get really pushy and like demanding that they haven't gone on it yet. And this was about an hour ago was our normal walk time, so got to make sure I get them out on their walk. They need their exercise. They need to get out their energy. And they've been so good. And then on top of that, I just heard the washing machine finished, so I gotta go switch out the laundry too. Oh, that was too much water. I'm glad you made it in too, Christine. Enjoy your pizza. It actually sounds really good. I haven't had Domino's in a minute. Okay, you just gotta come up. We have a place out here called Pizza Guys that I really love, but sometimes I just love like a thin crust Domino's pizza. Like some chicken, garlic, spinach on a thin crust pizza. One of my favorites. I will. You do the same, Christine? Okay. I need to make sure that these two look separate. Yeah. So like Domino's I think has the best thin crust. Pizza Hut I think has the best pan. And I love oh, who was it with it I had that I liked for the hand tossed? Uh, totally escaping me now. But like I've totally kind of like moved on. One Costco. I gotta give Costco like their pizzas are good, and for the price, like nothing beats it. Get a large pepperoni pizza from Costco. One of our favorite things to do is we'll just get a plain. We'll get like the Costco pizzas from the freezer, just the plain cheese ones, and then Eric and I will just get all of our toppings that we want to add onto it, and we'll just build up the pizza from that using the Costco pizza as the base. But then like we have that pizza guys out here, and I freaking love their pan pizzas and their chicken wings. They got some really good chicken wings. Don't know if any of you have a pizza guys out in your area, but if you do, I they're like the ones out here. They're great. Right? I asked my niece because my niece is in elementary school, and she was doing like the book reading stuff, and I was like, "Oh, do you still get a Pizza Hut pizza for it?" And she just looked at me like I was crazy, and she's like, "No, we don't get pizza for reading." I was like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put that out there and upset you for not getting pizza for reading anymore. We can still get you pizza." But I do like we had these little buttons that they would give us, and we would get little like star stickers to put on the button, and then when we filled up the button, we would go to take it to Pizza Hut, and we would get a free little personal pizza. That was back when they still had the indoor seating and the red. I remember their red cups, and everything matched that red. It always the beginning to ET. Like for some reason, the beginning part to ET always makes me think of Pizza Hut. Like the inside of their house, just like that's the decor of Pizza Hut. If you ever do get a Pizza Guys, yeah, Pizza Guys is great. They are a little pricey, and then we have a local place called Pizzava. They're okay. They used to be better before the pandemic. I've noticed that with a lot of our local restaurants. They were a lot better before the pandemic. So I don't know if like ownership's changed or what, but it just doesn't hit the same. And there's a couple other restaurants local that have been like that. What is it? The Blind Onion is another pizza place. Same thing. It just they used to be like so good before the pandemic, but then afterwards, I'm not sure what happened. Although I could just be crazy, and maybe it's just a symptom of long COVID that my taste has changed, and it's all in my own head. Who knows? Yep, exactly how I feel about pizza. It's so like it's one of those foods you'll never get tired of because some days when I'm craving chicken, I could do like the chicken spinach and artichoke pizza toppings, or the next day, like I could add like shaved beef, a little bit of like green and yellow peppers to it, some jalapenos and onion, turning it into almost like a Philly cheesesteak. I have no problems being adventurous with my pizzas, so long as they don't have olives. That is my one thing. I do not like olives. I give them all to Eric. I don't know if any of you have watched How I Met Your Mother, but like Eric is the olive eater. I'm the one that absolutely cannot stand olives. Maybe that means they're gonna be moving out closer to you too. Because yeah, I do highly suggest trying Pizza Guys if you have one. Marshmallow and lily pad. I am so confused. Did I miss something? Am I not seeing some of these comments? Is that a pizza topping? Oh my gosh. I literally had just said that. Okay, so I'm blonde at heart. And sometimes I have my moments where I can't hide that I am blonde. I I read that as Marshmallow and lily pad. Yes, I'm just I'm kicking myself over that. I was literally the one that brought up How I Met Your Mother. It's one of like the last sitcoms I actually sat down and watched all of. As Eric would say, it's a good thing you're pretty. I was curious about How I Met Your Father. I saw it was coming out, but I just don't watch TV like I used to. But that has like piqued my interest. I kind of want to check it out because I really did enjoy like How I Met Your Mother. The other one I really need to catch up on, like, because I just don't watch TV anymore, is Doctor Who. I used to be super religious with Doctor Who. Since the ninth Doctor, I even scoured the internet and anything to try to find like some of the really old episodes too. So like I've seen episodes with the first, second, third, fourth Doctor. I really like the sixth Doctor, um, Colin Baker. I just you could tell how much he loved being the Doctor. It really comes through on his performance. But like, I hate that there's so many of the episodes missing. Like, I wasn't alive yet to watch that stuff. But some people just didn't appreciate saving media back then. But I haven't really watched any of the newer episodes. I think Peter, the 12th Doctor, I can't remember his name, Peter Capaldi. Um, he was like the last Doctor I watched, and not for any particular reason. I just that's when I started going back to school and college, and I was working two jobs as well as taking 24 credits in college, and it just didn't have the time. There we go. It's been fun chatting with you too, Willow. I'll probably shoot you a message a little bit later. I appreciate you stopping by and keeping me some company. And look, I'm like actually getting some work done again. I'm definitely grateful for you guys helping keeping me in check. You have an amazing day too, Willow. Okay, I'm a little jealous, Jay. I've heard about it. I had not been able to find it anywhere. I heard there might be copies out there of it the last I had checked. But that was years ago. With that was still when like the doctor had a niece, right? Was it his niece? Was it supposed to be his niece, but before it was a companion? I'm not quite sure. Pulling on memories from years and years and years ago. I've seen some of the episodes with the Brigadier. I really liked him, and I like that they brought like references back for him with David Tennant's Doctor. There were some really good characters in the older show. Kind of why I felt a little like bad for Colin Baker. I think the BBC really did him dirty. Just because the owner at the time, the CEO, did not like sci-fi shows and just wanted the BBC to get rid of all of them. But because Doctor Who was such a popular show, they couldn't just cancel it, so he tried sabotaging it. Also destroying so many of the old episodes. Just because like he didn't like them. I'm like, why are you running a TV station that airs all sorts of stuff if you're not gonna like it doesn't matter if you don't like the show, if it's making you money. I don't understand what the problem with it is, but like that guy just did not like sci-fi shows and wanted them all off the air. And unfortunately, he took over the BBC right as Colin became the Doctor. That was why, like, if I'm remembering correctly, and I could be a little wrong with it, that was why they had when he had regenerated from the Fifth Doctor into the Sixth Doctor, he ended up attacking his companion. I don't remember who she was, but like he lunged at her and started choking her, and because they were trying to make the Doctor unlikable, and because Colin was like so thrilled to be the Doctor, he didn't fight with them. He just did what the script was told, like the script had him do, and it made a lot of people dislike him as the Doctor, which I just it's so unfortunate because he really loved the show. He was like David Tennant, where David Tennant was a huge fan of the show before becoming the Doctor, and that love for that character just shined, like really shined through. I also like that Colin Baker's Doctor tried fixing the TARDIS's cloaking mechanism, and it was like turning into all sorts of things, like the church organ, and it was like a set of cabinets one time. I need to get some of those old shows to watch again. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. It was his love for the character itself. He really loved being the Doctor. He loved what it stood for. And I mean, his wife is the daughter of one of the prior Doctors. Isn't it the Fifth Doctor? Like it was almost fate. Like he was definitely like made to be the Doctor. But I really do like almost all of the Doctors. They all bring something very unique. Like Peter Capaldi, I know he was grumpy, and a lot of people did not like when Peter Capaldi became the Doctor. There were so many people I remember upset over that. I really loved it. He was like just so crotchety and grumpy, but in an endearing way. Like there was a mythology to his grumpiness. I also like that he was in a prior episode, Pompeii, with David Tennant, and that his regeneration, like they explained it, was just like pulling what the Doctor knew from that moment. This is kind of the talk of Doctor Who's kind of inspired me to finish that one painting because that's supposed to be a Doctor Who painting. Are you on the screen? There we go. I didn't want like it's not going to be an overtly Doctor Who themed painting, but I think it would be fun to put in some weeping angels. And I was thinking like a nod to the regular TARDIS as well as Colin Baker's TARDIS. Just because like I wanted to do Colin Baker's TARDIS, but not a lot of people would get it because not a lot of people have seen that the TARDIS had its cloaking device fixed at one point. Or well, it wasn't fixed. It was he was trying to fix it, and it was cloaking into weird things like the church organ and the chest of cabinets. But people just it's the TARDIS as the police box is just too iconic. People would not recognize it right away. So I'd almost have to have both if I was gonna do the old one, just so people knew. But then again, the Weeping Angels are pretty iconic. Oh, nice. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Look at you, Frosty, getting YouTube famous now. I'm glad it's starting to blow up for you, though. I know you've been posting for a while. You absolutely deserve it. You're putting in the work. Anybody here likes gaming content, silly gaming content? Frosty Lizard Lives, you should go check him out. He is a personal friend of mine, so I can totally vouch for him. We used to play Pokemon Go together all the time. Oh, dang. Nice. Look at you. You're going to end up being big. One of the big gaming channels. And be like, I knew him. I knew him before he got big. But definitely check out Frosty Lizard Lives if you like fun gaming content. That's his channel. Lots of silly, fun things. You'll definitely enjoy your time. See, that's why I liked playing Pokemon Go with him, is because, like, he was a lot of fun to go out and hunt with. It's always a good time. Going hunting and just, like, being silly. We would go out hunting, though, at, like, night. And we would have one friend who would drive, and then, like, there would be like 4 others of us in the car, all hunting Pokemon together. Like, just, it would be our little crew rolling up to the Pokemon gym, decimating the gym, and then it would be like whoever could get into the gym first, because we were all different teams too. I was Team Mystic. A couple of my other friends were Team Mystic. We had a Team Valor, and then of course Frosty Lizard was Team Instinct. And so we would always, like, we would take down the gym together, but then we would, like, see who could get into the gym first, because none of us were on the same team. I need to get back into Pokemon Go. I really miss it. It just, like, got so expensive. There's so many microtransactions in the game now. But I did have a lot of fun with it, and it got me out of the house walking a lot more, so that's always a plus. It was a fight to the gym. Or my favorite part, though, was, like, we would be out until like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then Frosty Lizard would be like falling asleep in the background and like in the back seat, just kind of like dozing off. And we would be talking, but because Frosty was kind of like dozing off, it like almost try to join the conversation, like sleep talking. And that would, like, we would discover like, oh, he's asleep, and we don't have like little bets about who's gonna fall asleep first between like if it was gonna be Frosty or not. And then of course like we'd wake up suddenly, and we would of course like poke fun at him. Yeah, I kind of miss some of those nights. It was a lot of fun. Maybe I could get my husband into Pokemon Go. Like, he played a little bit, but like maybe I could get him back into it. Or maybe like, oh, we can just like pick a night, Frosty, and we can go play Pokemon Go again. Yeah, you definitely like had a bedtime, and if it was past your bedtime, like your body was like, "No, I'm not dealing with this nonsense. I know it's time to sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep." I feel like that's where a lot of our silliness came from, was because like it was so late at night and we were like a little sleep deprived because we would be staying out way too late playing Pokemon. Boo 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 boo. Yes, yes, CJ, you get it. Sleep is overrated when you're playing Pokemon Go. Uh, we used to go so hard at that game. I was one of like the three main like we would raid leaders. I don't even know what we would call them, but it was like me and two other guys, and we would get groups together and we would just go hit all of the raids to get all of the legendaries. The other two guys, though, they were a lot more hardcore than I was, like ridiculously hardcore, and like I'm talking speeding, potentially breaking traffic laws. I don't want to incriminate anybody. To get from like gym to gym to gym to gym to gym, and like they would hit 20 to 30 gyms for raids in an hour, and this was back in like the slow days of Pokemon Go. I was not about that life. I didn't go that hard. I said I was the baby trainer. Like I will wait for people to get there, so like everybody has an opportunity to take on the legendary. I would wait for like we would have a citywide Discord that we were using, and people were like, "I'm on my way," and I'm like, "We're gonna wait." You know, like there's a kid coming along too. We got to make sure the kid gets it. This is a kid's game, and when my raid groups, the kids always came first. But like I was always trying to make sure everybody got an opportunity to get it, just because you needed a bunch of people to fight it and take it down. I would help people catch their Pokemon. And the other two were just like all over the place, zooming through the city, and I was like, I'm not about that life. Yeah, you remember that was how we like started raiding together, because you didn't like keeping up with them either. They were intense. Like play the game how you're gonna how you enjoy it, like for sure I'm all about that, but that was intense. Some of them, those raids, then the lobbies would get huge. There was one time we had a raid group. This was like when Zapdos just came out. And we had like what 300 people in downtown Reno for a freaking Zapdos. I missed those numbers. Those were great Pokemon Go days. I was blown away because like everybody was just like, how are we gonna split up the groups? And like it was all three of us raid leaders together, and all of our groups were intermingled, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is we were not expecting so many people to show up for a freaking Zapdos. But we ended up like trying to break up the groups into like teams, and this was before they were even doing team bonuses. But like we were just trying to like you got extra balls if you were like the winning team. So like we were trying to split up people in teams, like who's Mystic, who's Valor, who's Instinct. Instinct's over there, Valor's over there, Mystic's with me. Yeah, you remember like it was getting it was a little crazy back then. uh 2017, 2006, or 2016, 2017. Those were like those were fun days with Pokemon Go. There we go. I think this is definitely looking much better. It's kind of brightening up the front right here. Oh, nice. Maybe I might have to do like a little post so people, if they wanted to, they can friend me. I'm not super active on Pokemon Go, but I do still play like maybe every other day or whatnot. And I do know they just opened up remote trading, but you have to build up your friendship. So like I can build up my friendship with people. I can work on that. So to try to do remote trading to help you finish out your Gen 1. Just remember though, you can't trade mythicals. It's the only thing. So if you're missing Mew, I can't trade you Mew, but I have extras of just about everything else. My Pokemon box is like almost can hold almost 6,000 Pokemon, and I think I'm sitting at like 5,900. So I need to clear out my boxes too. All right, I need to let this dry. I'm gonna give this a second to dry, and yeah, because it's about that time. I need to start getting some stuff done. It just means we got to trade send presents to each other. If you got to be lucky friends to be able to do the remote trades. Hey, it's like what 90 days of just opening presents, and then lucking out and getting that lucky trade. And besides that, like we can still do remote raids. I don't do too many remote raids like nowadays, just because like I'm not about those microtransactions. But I do occasionally, especially when it's with friends. All right, I'm looking at the puppies. I'm gonna have to start getting them going. So I appreciate everybody joining. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you all. Jay, Frosty, when Willow and Christine were all here. I really I enjoyed that. It was a good day of getting some painting done. Let's see, Asuma was another one, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna set up another stream for Wednesday. I'm thinking Wednesday is going to probably be another early day, just because I know there were some people who like early in the morning, and Wednesday's a really good day for me to be able to stream. So I do think I'm gonna stick to Wednesdays. I don't know if I'm gonna do every week yet, but I know definitely for sure on Wednesdays, at least for me. So yeah, hopefully I can catch you all in the next stream, and if not, I will be doing more in the future. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. Don't get lost. Don't get stolen. Bye, you beautiful people.